Do you remember that time in Chainsaw Man where Denji and Aki Hayakawa started kicking Katana Man in the balls at the end of Season 1? It was supposed to be a gesture of revenge because Katana Man was responsible for Himeno's death just a couple episodes prior. And even though Katana Man was facing a life in prison after Denji finally defeated him, Denji decided that that was simply insufficient as a punishment for his crimes. And so to make up for this injustice, Denji invited Aki to a contest to see who could make Katana Man scream the loudest by kicking him directly in the balls. And Aki actually declined this invitation at first because he initially believed that it wasn't the kind of thing that would have made Himeno happy. But then something happened that caused Aki to second guess his interpretation of Himeno's wishes for him. He pulled out that mysterious cigarette that Himeno had given him from beyond the grave through the medium of the ghost devil. And Aki took a moment to contemplate a message that had been inscribed on this cigarette, which was effectively Himeno's final communication to him. The message contained two simple words. It said, "Easy revenge." And Aki decided that this message represented Himeno's permission to accept Denji's invitation and to start kicking Katana Man directly in the nuts. After all, if this opportunity wasn't a case of easy revenge, it's kinda hard to know what is. And as Denji and Aki are working together to give the boot to Katana Man's balls, Aki takes a moment to shout into the sky and he asks if Himeno can hear the music of Katana Man screaming from her place in heaven. But the thing that I find most beautiful about this scene is that it actually represents a little bit more than Denji and Aki's revenge for Himeno's death. It also symbolizes the moment when Denji and Aki truly became friends. Because you've got to remember, at the beginning of their story together, it was Denji who was kicking Aki in the balls after Aki sucker punched him during their first mission together. Aki and Denji started out as enemies because Aki was this pretentious stick in the mud who thought that Denji was a vulgar scumbag who besmirched the honor of public safety. And the funny thing is, Aki wasn't even entirely wrong about Denji because Denji certainly is vulgar and that vulgarity expresses itself in the way that he loves kicking people in the balls. But by the end of Season 1, Aki has undergone a transformation. He's loosened up. He's dropped some of his pretension and his prissy stuck-up attitude. And to a certain extent, he's even learned to embrace Denji's vulgarity. And this transformation in Aki's soul is symbolized in the way in which he now joins Denji in kicking Katana Man in the balls. This turn of events marks the precise moment in which Aki and Denji finally became friends, who have fun together and who enjoy each other's company. But there's actually another person who made this blossoming friendship between Aki and Denji possible in the first place. And that person is Himeno. Because Himeno was really the primary influence on Aki's life that made him drop his prickly, prissy, stuck-up attitude and to loosen up a bit and just to chill out. Because when Himeno first met Aki at the beginning of their partnership, he basically had no personality. He was just pure trauma, pure seriousness. And Himeno is the one who made him grow out his hair, get his ears pierced, start smoking, and go drinking once in a while. All of these little changes that Himeno's friendship introduced into Aki's life wore away at his stuck-up persona piece by piece over time. And I think that Aki never really understood what Himeno was trying to do for him while she was alive. She was trying to save his soul and to give him the ability to enjoy his time on Earth. Because she loved him. And she saw that his stuck-up persona was really a response to trauma that closed him off to any hope at a happy life. But Aki finally realized what Himeno had been trying to do for him for all this time in the days after she gave up her own life in order that he may live. It happened in that very moment when Denji invited Aki to take revenge for Himeno's death by kicking Katana Man directly in the balls and seeing how loud he could make him scream. Or to be a little bit more precise, it happened in that very moment when Aki examined that cigarette which was Himeno's final gift and final communication to him. And he pondered the words of easy revenge that Himeno had inscribed upon it. And he realized that Denji's vulgar invitation was most definitely the easy revenge that Himeno must have had in mind. For this was the kind of man that she always wanted him to become.